What is up, everybody? Welcome to racingdudes.com and welcome to our Belmont Stakes First Look. We still got a couple of weeks for the Belmont Stakes, but I always like to come on here and take a first look at what is to come up at this year. Saratoga, what a weird year, right? Laurel Park for the Preakness, now Saratoga coming up for the Belmont Stakes. This will be the last year it's at Saratoga, being back at Belmont Park. The new Belmont Park going to open in September, and of course, they'll have the Belmont Stakes there next year. All right, let's go now, and I'll just put them up on the screen for you now. Here are the probables right now for the Belmont Stakes. Golden Tempo, Renegade, Ocelli, Chief Wallaby, Commandment, Emerging Market, Potente, Ottenho, and Growth Equity. Most of these, pretty much all of these, actually coming from the Daily Racing for David Grinnig. Actually had an article on the front page of the Daily Racing Form right now with the probables there. So a field of potentially 9 horses as of now. I do want to shout out my buddy Douglas. He actually emailed me and was asking, when is the last time we've had full fields, if we were to get a full field for the Belmont, full field in all 3, Triple Crown events. It doesn't happen hardly ever, but it is interesting. Now we did get a lot of scratches, unfortunately, from the Derby, but 24 horses were technically entered for the race. We ended up running 18 and then 14 for the Preakness. That usually never happens. It sounds like we're going to be short of having full entries for all 3. But hey, if we get, let's say, 9 for the Belmont, and look, there could be more added. There also could be some subtracted from this list as well. So we'll see. But I mean, that's a pretty successful Triple Crown from a betting standpoint and from a field size standpoint. Let's go through it here. Golden Tempo, obviously going to be the most, I guess talked about horse out of the group here. Of course, winning the Kentucky Derby. Can he win 2 of 3 legs? How weird would that be if we have back-to-back horses win 2 of 3 legs? And the reason they may not have won the third one is because they didn't show up. Who knows if Golden Tempo would have won or not in the Preakness, but he's going to try to do exactly what Sovereignty did last year. So that'll be very interesting. Renegade doesn't have to worry about, drawing a rail when there's a, 8, well, there was, I guess, 17 other horses this year instead of 19, but you know what I mean? Doesn't have to worry about drawing a rail in a full field and having all those problems. So we'll see if Renegade can turn the tables on a Golden Tempo in the spot with a more reasonable draw. He's up there right now. But all these horses almost are up there right now, talking about Golden Tempo and Renegade. Ocelli is not 100% certain at this point. His trainer basically said, hey, the way he's come out of this Preakness, all things are on the table. He is still a maiden. So he went back to Kentucky and they're going to train and just kind of make the decision. He could wait for a race like the Matt Win, or he could go up to the Belmont. So we will see if Ocelli goes to the Belmont, 3rd in the Derby, 4th in the Preakness. Like I said, still a maiden, but they basically said everything and anything's on the table. I think Ocelli will show up here. So that'll be interesting to see. Chief Wallaby. What are we going to do with Chief Wallaby? We kind of documented those mental inconsistencies, let's call it, and what might have cost him in the Florida Derby. Kentucky Derby may have been doing the same type of thing, or he may have just had a bad trip, or both. So he's going to be a hot button horse. He's up at Saratoga now, getting ready for the Belmont, and we'll just kind of see what happens with him. Commandment, a horse that I thought was pretty disappointing in the Kentucky Derby. Can he bounce back in the Belmont? I'm glad to see him on the list here. Brad Cox is not, he doesn't have Further Ado in consideration. He does have Commandment. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see how he goes. Emerging Market, a horse kind of like Commandment, really was kind of up there, and he felt like he had a chance before he just kind of backed up a little bit. Did he get a lot of experience out of that Kentucky Derby, and will he move forward? Lightly raced horse, and will we see his best at the Belmont? I think that'll be interesting. Potente, I was kind of surprised on the list here. We do know that Bob Baffert's going to send Crude Velocity up for the Woody Stevens. He has, well, at least that's what he announced. Potente to the Belmont. Will he do that? I think that was a horse that was getting some buzz in the mornings as far as workout goes for the Kentucky Derby. And another one sat up there closer to the pace and just didn't have anything at all when the real running began. So we'll see if he can get better off of that Derby. Like a lot of these, I think we kind of project will. Ottenho, a horse second in the Bluegrass, kind of well beaten there. And then Growth Equity, the Chad Brown horse that won the Peter Pan, he's also under consideration. I think this is a really good field. The only Preakness horse under consideration is Ocelli. So it sounds like they're going to go. A lot of those horses out of the Preakness sounds like they're going to go to the Haskell or the Jim Dandy or something like that. Kind of wait for the summer, big summer races. So look, but I think you're getting those Derby runners back. You're getting them under normal type of race circumstances. I think this is really going to tell us who the best 3-year-old is exiting the Triple Crown. If let's say a horse like Renegade wins it, well, second in the Derby, first in the Belmont, he's going to be the number one horse. Obviously, Golden Temple will be the number one horse if he wins, winning the Derby and the Belmont. Chief Wallaby, he's right there in the conversation. Commandment as well. If they win the Belmont, you go, well, let's just draw a line through the Derby. The Belmont was more of the normal race. So I think this is going to be the best of the 3 Triple Crown races. And again, up at Saratoga at 1.25 miles, so it's not 1.5 miles. And I know people are ready to get back to the 1.5 miles at Belmont Park. We'll have that next year. But for now, I think we're going to have a really, really good Belmont Stakes up at Saratoga. I expect a really good race. Right now, I lean Renegade. I wish I would have picked him in the Derby. He was my number 1 ranked horse. I hated the rail, and I got away from him. Even though I still would have been right, I would have got second. Still just kind of felt like, would have rather gotten second with Renegade than off the board with Commandment at least. But Renegade's my horse right now. I thought right after the Kentucky Derby, Renegade's my horse for the Belmont. We've already documented it. Dornock, he won the Belmont. He drew the rail in the Derby, missed the board, ended up winning the Belmont. Mo Donegal drew the rail in the Derby, didn't hit the board, ended up winning the Belmont. Renegade, he did hit the board in the Kentucky Derby. I think he's going on to win the Belmont and be the 3rd horse in 5 years to win the Belmont after drawing the rail in the Derby. So that's it right now. Now, a couple things. This field will change. I'm sure of that. My pick could change. We're still a couple of weeks out. But as of right now, my lane for the Belmont is Renegade. All right, guys, that'll do it for this preview. That'll do it for this early preview, I should say. Hit that like button if you like it. Subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alert anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, stay tuned to the website for more Belmont Stakes coverage.